Here we go. This is the big one.
Yeah.
Housing. We had to do it to them. This is a big one. With inflation, rent, mortgages, interest rates, it's out of control.
I mean, that is sad. If you're trying to buy your first house these days, like it is hard and it is depressing versus even like 5 years ago, which you could have gotten, you know?
And this is reality. I mean, the numbers are preaching here. In 2023, rates reached a 20-year high, which is the highest Gen Z has seen in their lifetime.
Yeah. Yeah, this is hard. As of late 2024, the inflation rate was sitting at around 2.5%, which means goods and services cost about 2.5% more than they did the previous year. So you put all that together, and it was a tough
It's insult to injury because you got the housing prices skyrocketing, interest rates being at a 20-year high.
And everything else being high too.
And they're struggling with other types of debt, trying to get their career off the ground.
Student loan debt we just talked about, all of it. So,
and the job market hasn't been easy. So there's some legitimate things happening here that I have a lot of empathy for Gen Z.
Yeah, it is hard. And what's hard about it too, George, is that math doesn't change. So the formula to be wise at buying a home is still the formula, which means expectations do have to change. It means it probably is going to take longer to save for a down payment than previous years in the past.
You have to compromise?
Yeah, maybe going out further than what you would have initially. Like all of that changes, but the math doesn't. So the formula of really sticking to that 15-year fixed rate mortgage and the payment being no more than 25% of your take-home pay, it's a conservative formula that we use, but it's one that sets you up well for the long term. And again, home ownership should be a goal for sure, but don't feel like you have to like rush into it. So be patient with it, be debt-free, have an emergency fund in place, save up at least 5% for a down payment, and begin the journey of home ownership.
You know what I realized though with Gen Z? They are so aesthetically minded versus the boomers who didn't care. You know, like if you look back at like the 90s homes, they weren't pretty.
Yeah.
Gen Z wants a pretty home to live in, which is a very reasonable expectation. The problem is those homes cost a lot more than the ones that could use some TLC.
Yeah, that's a good point,
So that's
George.
also adding to all this because they grew up with Instagram and HGTV and, you know, flipping homes, and you want the nicer countertops, the open floor plan, and that's going to cost you.
Yeah.
And so it just adds more insult to injury here. So I feel you guys. I feel you.
It's tough. All right, increased convenience culture. So Gen Z grew up with more convenience spending options than any other generation. So this is like rideshare apps, food delivery, even a vacation. Like if you want to stay at a hotel, you can do an Airbnb. Like that didn't never existed. Like there's so many convenient ways to do things in life now, but they always come at a cost, right? You're going to be paying more for those things, but they are convenient. And it's easy to overspend, though, because of it.
Yeah. And subscription culture, I mean, it is much more prevalent now than it used to be. So their monthly bills, I mean, it just keeps going up. All the streaming services, they want access to immediate information. And we get used to luxuries that now feel like necessities so that when they're taken away, you're like, I can't live.
What am I doing?
That's a hard one. As,
that is.
You know, technology and culture just keeps progressing.
Yep, for sure. Okay, so some of those negative things for Gen Z, housing market, student loan debts, all that. There are some perks they have, though, in life, George.
Got to talk about the good.
Yeah, the good. I'll say this, more access to financial education. If you want to learn something, you can do it.
You don't have to go to the library and open up an encyclopedia. The old Britannica.
It's so true. I mean, you don't have to have a textbook. You don't even really, need a degree to win with money. Like back in the day, it was like, oh, if you had a finance degree, you're going to be like really smart with money. Now you can search the internet. You got to make sure it's wise financial information, because that's the other thing.
There's a lot of noise and trash and confusion out there.
So making sure it's good, but you can learn a lot. And I would say that's true with anything. Think about parenting. My parents always say this to us, like, we had no clue what we were doing. Like, maybe you talk to friends, but like they weren't reading parenting books or thinking about counseling for their kids. Like all of this access that we have to that, like they didn't have that. Or recipes, like you have a recipe book. Now, you can just Google lasagna and you get 30,000 lasagna recipes.
Plus some great pics of lasagna.
And some lasagna
good perk.
pics. Yeah, so they do. They have access to a lot of information, which
and
can be a
shows like
blessing
this
first.
are free.
Yeah.
Smart Money Happy Hour. How are we
You're
not
welcome.
charging for this?
You're welcome.
That's amazing. And we have a great budgeting app. Our parents back in the day, it was just a yellow pad and prayers.
That's right.
You can Google, YouTube. There's so many ChatGPT.
I love ChatGPT now.
I'm so glad you finally made it.
I did. I downloaded it.
We were worried about you. We thought Rachel's not going to make the corner here she's not going to get there.
I love it. I was like Googling something like theological the other day, and they're like, would you like me to have a chart to break down Protestant Catholicism and Orthodoxy? I was like, yes, thank you. And it like gave me a full-on chart, all this stuff. And I was like, oh my gosh.
I'm glad you found someone who wants to talk about this with you, because nobody in your actual life is interested. So you ChatGPT, you're like, isn't that crazy? And it's like, yes, Rachel.
Yes, Rachel, absolutely.
That is mildly interesting.
I will say, I got very confused at one point, and it was like giving me years of things. Okay, and this is where I'm slow.
Was wrong?
It was the BCE.
Oh.
But it's like 10 years off of the, like I was getting, and it was messing me up.
The incongruency of BC and BCE.
So I just finally was like, please, going forward, will you just do AD and BC? Like, can I just have it? And it said, yes, confirmed, will show now in all other searches or results or something. I was like,
wow.
Thank you.
You've trained it.
ChatGPT. Isn't that crazy?
Nothing says I'm relatable and relevant like, please only show me AD and BC.
Because I was getting very confused. I don't want to do math in my head, trying to think of these years.
That makes me happy.
You know?
I'm glad you made it.
Thank you.
But it is amazing how much time we save when we're trying to find information.
Yes, for sure.